minute.
Nice.
Are you ready to go?
Presume so.
I mean, having watched my other episodes, you know that we kind of start without starting. I don't actually think I've met anyone named Corey in my entire life.
It's not a common name. I've met two that I know of. But I've always been followed by them though, weirdly.
Okay.
Like there was one other one that I knew at secondary school. When I left secondary school, obviously, went into college, there's one guy in my class who had it, no one else. He then got kicked off the course. But in my second and third year of college, because I was there for 3 years, there was someone else who was doing fashion that had my name.
Okay.
There's no one at uni yet that I know of, but there's always been like one other, which is weird.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's an American name.
Yep.
Because it's Corey Taylor. That's how I know
the
name Corey.
There's that one. There's the one that I used to get in primary school, which is Corey in the House, which is an old it's like a kids' TV thing.
Okay.
Where there's a kid who is the son of the president of the United States, and then that's literally it.
I love a good sitcom.
He has like he plays DDR with some other guy in a plane to make sure his dad stays president or some. It's some weird kind of like That's So Raven or that sort of like high school thing.
Yeah.
The only other I think that's about it actually with people with my name. There's not many of us. But my spelling, if I'm not mistaken, or how my parents found it is Irish.
Okay. Yeah.
They had an Irish dictionary and my name was in it. Yeah.
I don't know how they came across my name. Yeah, you don't meet many Grahams, to be fair.
No, I think you're probably the first Graham that I've met.
Yeah, or if you do the spell differently, it's like you have the AEM spelling and that. Either way, welcome to Yelling at Concrete Podcast, Corey.
Yeah, to be fair, mine can be spelt like 8 ways. It's ridiculous because you get Corey, which is mine. Yeah. Corry, Corrie, Corry, but then it's like, or it'd be Korey, Kory, and it's like there's so many different ways.
A K or a Corey.
There's one famous person that's got it. She's a guitarist in a band called Skillet.
Okay.
And that's spelled with a K. That's the only other person that I've known.
I always get concerned about the legacy because it's an unusual name. It's like, if I got big and then I fucked up, I'd be that Graham who fucked up.
Yeah, see, I'm fine. I'm alright.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get bigger than the Slipknot singer, so I'm fine.
You never know.
Well, it depends.
What are your future aspirations? So, a bit of context for people listening. You found me via Instagram?
Yes.
/ Nathan, who has been previously on the podcast.
Nathan shared, I believe, the second time he was on here.
Okay.
And he shared a picture of him sitting at this table and was like, I've just been on a podcast.
And I thought, you know Nathan through
college.
Yeah.
He taught me for a year and a bit.
All right, okay. Because you're how old are you?
19.
You're 19. You may be the youngest guest I've had.
That wouldn't surprise me. I'm the oldest person I know, which is not much. Cause everyone else is like 1 year younger, but still. Still the oldest.
I mean, there was another Nathan I have who he's been on a couple of times because I work with him. And he's 20. So he might have been 19 at the time. So that's fairly. So you're just in uni.
Yep.
Yeah.
First year
uni.
20 in June.
Studying
film theory, not film theory, film production. Because we're doing film theory currently.
It's going well, this course.
Yep.
You know the name.
We're doing film theory currently, and it's like that's the main thing we're doing.
Yeah. You enjoying it at least?
Yeah. It's good fun. To be fair, actually, it would help if I stirred in the sugar.
I mean, you can do.
Yeah. It's what I hoped it would be.
Yeah.
In a way, if that makes sense.
So do you do, I'm guessing, media at college? Or, yeah.
I did media studies in secondary school because I don't know, it's one of the weird things how I got into film. It's like I took the longest path to kind of get here. Because like everyone else I know is like, oh, my parents were into film, or I watched films when I was younger and wanted to make them, or they got bought a camcorder and they did it or whatever. I've always been creative. My family is every single person is somewhat creative. One of my uncles is in band. My other one used to play instruments and I think's performed some stuff. My brother was in a band. My mum can play instruments. She also makes stuff. My dad does as far as I know, he's the one that kind of like just doesn't really do anything like that. He's just kind of worked for most of his life and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like everyone's done something. So I was brought up, I played drums in primary school. I enjoyed like making stuff, whatever it was, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I bought a camcorder when I was about 6. But I still have. But I lost. It's some like internal memory 720p like handheld flippy out screen thing.
Best kind.
Yep. That my nan bought me, and I've lost the charger, so I can't power it up. But I got a camcorder for college, which has like a cable, so you don't have to take the SD card out, so you can transfer files. Yeah. That fits into the camcorder.
Nice.
My old one, and it's got like one video file on it, which is like my uncle and his son, like from years ago.
Yeah.
So I bought that because I used to be into photography. So whenever I went on holiday or anything, I would always be the one with the camera and taking pictures or whatever.
Yep.
And then went to secondary school.
Mm-hmm.
Did all the stuff, maths, English, whatever. Mm-hmm. Wasn't the biggest fan of most of it because, like most schools, nothing was creative except for art, which is like, I don't know if it was the same for other people. We did like no art. Yeah. We learnt about it, and I was like, you can make this clay thing. And that's it. I was like, great, cool. And then we had catering, which isn't, it's kind of creative.
Kind of creative.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. We had woodwork, we had sewing, and graphics. Yeah. And like you have like you do it like 25% of a year with each one. Yeah. So you've done the whole thing. And then that was it. That's all we had. Yeah. And I got to year 9. It's like you've got to take your options now. I was like, right, well. Thankfully, it used to be a language school, then it changed. Like the year I had 10 options, it changed. So you didn't have to do a language.
What school did you go to?
Sir William Robertson in Wellborn.
Because I went to a language school.
Yeah.
Because Fred Goff in Scunthorpe is a language college. So I had the very similar kind of track of you get an hour a week to do art, and that's about it. And then when I got to year 9 for my options, I tried to abandon academic subjects. Yeah. And essentially was told I wasn't allowed. Yeah. Because I was doing too well in other subjects, and they were like, "Oh no, because we know you can get an A in this subject, so we're not letting you drop that subject." I was like, "But I just want to go do DT and work with my hands." Yeah. Yeah.
But so I didn't have to take German. That's what I was doing at the time. So I would have took that if I had to, because I had 3 years of German and that was it. Right. I remember none of it except for 1 to 10, kind of, and aeroplane in German.
I've tried learning German so many times.
I know 1 to 10 just because it kind of stuck in my head, and there's a Rammstein song, which is a German band, and that has the start of it.
I know way more German just by reciting it. I have no idea what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then I know aeroplane, which is I believe Flugzeug, because it's a dumb word, and I thought it was funny, so it just kind of stuck in my head. So I was like, okay, right, options. It was like, oh, do you want to take triple science? Right. You had it was like a piece of paper, but had 4 boxes, and it's like, right, you have to tick one of the subjects in each box. Yeah. And I think it was like you can pick 2 in the same box, but you have to speak to a teacher so they can timetable it around you or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, right, do I want to take history, geography, history? Just because I was really bad at geography. I don't know what anything is. Yeah. And it was like, oh, okay, I'll do catering. Literally, I did catering. Then I picked graphics, and then it was like, right, I got 1 more box to tick. And I was like, right, what do I want to do? And there's nothing in that box I wanted. It was like drama. Oh, I forgot we had drama and music as well.
They don't really count.
Yeah. It was like drama, music, or performing arts, which is like a bit both. Yeah. And it was like media studies. And I was like, well, media's like music, but you don't make music. I'll pick media studies because I didn't want to make anything. Yeah. And then I did it. And I was like, here's a frame from Sherlock. Tell me why all this stuff is in this frame. Yeah. And I was like, okay, right. Do you make anything? No. I was like, okay, right. Cool.
You look at things and you say why they are the way they are, and then you sit back and go, "That's right, I know why that's that."
And I was like, "Okay, well, you've done that for 2 years. You made a magazine double page spread. Yeah. Thumbs up. That's your coursework done." Yeah. And I was like, "Right, well, now I'm going to go 6th form." Okay. Didn't get into 6th form, so I was like, "Okay, well, now what?" And there's a guy from Lincoln College who was like, "Oh, you come to a late enrollers day and you'll get on a course." I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." And I went in going, because if I was going to do 6th form, I was going to do media. That was like the only subject I enjoyed out of all of them. Didn't like English. I didn't mind English, but like didn't like any of like maths or anything else. So I went and I was like, okay, right, I need to pick a course. And I was like, photography or media or computer science, weirdly. Because we did like, you had to prove that you could use Word, PowerPoint and Excel.
Yeah.
And it was like
It's like a basics.
Yeah. And I had to do that, and I thought I could do that. I could do computer science. I'm glad I didn't take computer science. I have to say that.
Like, I look at computer science and my brain just goes, nah, that's not happening, mate.
And like, so the guy came up to me and I was like, right, what do you want to do? And my brain just went, media. Yeah. So I did media production for 3 years.
Yep.
I did level 2, so GCSE equivalent for a year, and then level 3 for 2 years, which is why I'm 1 year older than everyone. Because that's pretty much a year back.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. Thought it was great. I was like, you get to make what was it? In the first year, you made like an ident, and you made UF&P was whatever you wanted. So you can make whatever you want. Here's a camera, make whatever. And I was like,
what did you make?
Well, I was like, okay, we haven't made a film yet.
Okay.
I kind of want to make a film or something. I was like, right, what do I want to do? Some people doing like an episode of a TV show. 2 of my friends did like same TV show. One did episode 1, one did episode 2.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
And I was like, okay, what do I want to do? I was like, I'm not going to get anyone in to help me act. I'm going to be in it myself. I got my brother, but he wore a mask.
Okay.
Which, funny enough, actually, Nathan was marking it, and he thought it was me, so he gave me extra marks until I later told him it wasn't. It was like, I thought that was you. I was like, well, let's pretend it is. Because we're the same height and stuff. It's great. So I was like, okay, what do I want to do? I was going to make a TV or film. And then I was really into comedy at that point.
Yeah.
Because I still wasn't massively into film.
Okay, yeah.
If it was like surface level, like Lord of the Rings, like proper nerd stuff and that sort of thing. Yeah. So I was like, what do I want to make? I was really into comedy, so I was like, right. My favourite comedic actor for years is Rowan Atkinson.
Okay.
For his Mr. Bean stuff and his John English stuff. So I was like, okay. There's a bit of slapstick there, but I was like, oh wow. And then no one else that I've met, except for my family, has heard of this because it's an old thing that hasn't been around for years. But there's also another TV show which is called Bottom, which has got Rick Mayall in it, which I think is fantastic. So I was like, what if I do a mixture of that and Mr. Bean? And it became this like random thing where I was supposed to be older. I wasn't.
Yeah.
But I was supposed to like look older, and basically I was. I made it's called Cup of Tea randomly. It's the only thing I think of. He makes a cup of tea and then he goes outside. Someone comes through his front door, nicks his painting on the wall, leaves. He then gets locked in the bathroom, turns around, walks into a door, knocks himself out, and that's it.
Okay.
Literally the whole thing.
It's straight to the point.
Yep. And that was it. And I was like, I made it, and I thought, that's it's quite fun to make. Like, the amount of times I had to walk into my bathroom door, so I was like, it doesn't look right.
I mean, I quite like that because it avoids. I mean, in my head, I'm essentially always looking for tropes, especially when it comes to like university and college work.
Yeah.
It's like if someone comes to me and says, "Oh yeah, I'm making this thing. It's about this guy who's like really struggling," and I'm like, okay, in my head, I've already pictured the scene. I already know what you've made. So to make something kind of comedy and slapstick, that's quite cool. That's a nice little diversion.
That's the first thing I properly did. I was like, okay, right, cool. Then I'm like, okay, you've passed. We've got a merit. You can go on to level 3. I was like, great. And then it was like, okay, level 3. The main reason why I'm glad I took level 2 was because when I got to level 3, everyone had jumped from school or whatever to straight to level 3.
Right, yeah.
And like me, did like no media because it wasn't an option.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, first thing you're going to make is a silent film. No music, nothing. Like proper, no audio. Mm-hmm. And if you added music, they would literally just mute the video, so there's nothing. And like you make it on whatever you wanted. And this is kind of, again, where I was like, okay, you had like, but it didn't tell you about it either. It was unplanned. Literally, here's a camera. Yeah. There's you in a group of 3. Go make something.
Yeah.
But I did that twice. But it once where it was unmarked, and once where it was. The unmarked one was even worse. We had to make a 30-second commercial where they literally gave us like, so one group got a pen. We got a pen.
Yeah.
One group got a glue stick. I was like, right, in this like 4-hour time slot that you have 2 hours to film and edit a thing. Go do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, how do we advertise a pen? And this is like 3 16 to 17-year-olds who have been given a pen, and then one of us I think me and my friend, there's 2 males and a female. Yeah. Me and my friend both at the same time kind of had a thought. It was a Bic pen, and we both were like, that sounds like dick. That's how we're selling this. That was it. And then straight away the female...
The teenage mindset just like, yep. Sounds like dick. We can use that.
The female then straight away was like, I'm being on camera, so I'm not in it, so me and him had to act. I was like, great.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, we had to show this in front of a whole class.
Yes, of course. You have to own your mistakes.
Yeah. there was 2 classes. We got split. It was like, if you pass Maths and English, you're in this one. If you haven't passed it, you're in that one. So we were like, okay, well, what do we do? It's a bizarre... I don't know how we came to it. I'm sat in a room, just like got computers, and I'm fiddling with a pen, but the camera can't see it, so it's like under a table. In terms of the advert, I'm supposed to be struggling to put a pen lid on, which doesn't make sense because it's not that hard.
Okay.
But in the context of the advert, my other friend looks through the window, and it looks like I'm doing something else.
Yep.
To the point where he sits down next to me, looks down at the pen, which is still down here, and goes, oh, that's quite nice, or it's that. And then he goes, can I touch it? To the point where I lift my pen up and say no. Okay. And then he walks off saying, I've got a small bic, and then that's it, the advert's finished.
Right.
Which then got named the banned advert, which is a great first impression for all the students that will be teaching us.
Yep.
I still have it. I think I'm the only one in the group that kept a copy of it, and I still got it. Still there.
I mean, most of like what I shot at college came on like DV tapes. So every so often I'll come across a tape and I'm like, I have no idea what's on this. And I can't throw it away. I can't bring myself to throw it away, even though I know I don't want it and I really don't want to watch it. But I'm just like, I can't bring myself. You'll do that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, they gave us. It was like you pay £100 for 2 years, and it's like a studio fee, so you can use our equipment or whatever. Yeah. They gave us a terabyte external hard drive, so you can put all the work on. Nice. So I'm still using the same one that has all my college stuff on it, except for level 2. So like we made that. We had to make a This Is Me video. Has to do it in both level 2 and the first year level 3, which is like make a 5-minute film that's about you. Okay. So you speak about yourself or you show yourself. My first one was okay. I was just like, here's me looking through all pictures, and then here's me doing some martial arts. That's what I used to do. My second one was, here's me running around with a sonic screwdriver that I bought.
Okay.
That cost like £80.
Yeah.
But it works on it's like a universal remote, so you can flick it and it changes the T. I think it's great. Yeah. This is weird. And then the second half of me doing circus stuff with a generic circus music in the background, which then became a massive joke because it's completely dumb.
Okay.
I think like my first year of college was strong. Yeah. I was like, okay, cool. My second year, it was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And my third year, I kind of picked it back up again. And it's just this weird middle bit that doesn't make sense.
Midlife crisis in college.
So we had to make a silent film.
Yep.
So I went with the obvious thing, like you mentioned, which was mental health, because everyone does. Yep. Everyone makes a mental health thing. It's just what happens.
If you have a year group and someone doesn't make a video about suicide or self-harm or struggling with something or a breakup, it is not a year at college.
Yeah, the amount of people that made it was weird.
You'll be surprised how many people take that into uni as well.
And
just redo
to be fair, with uni, thankfully, I think I've got like the groups projects that I've been in, because like college we couldn't pick. I've been lucky. But my thing in college was like, right, here's someone, because you couldn't show text either. Yeah. So you couldn't like show a text message on the phone that's saying you suck or whatever. So I was like, right, okay. So I did this weird thing where there was a girl who's really happy, and then she's like, oh, well, hey. And then she sees someone like across the street, and then they text her something, and she runs off. And it's supposed to be this like really empowering thing where she gets near a ledge, which if you go to the Arboretum, you know how it kind of like gets a bit taller. Yep. She stood on the end of that. Okay. And then like, but you can't see the ground. And then it's supposed to be like, oh, what she can do? And then she throws her phone and then walks away. Right. And that's it, done.
Okay.
Film finished.
You filmed it in black and white?
Nope.
Okay.
Tempted.
I'm just picturing it. I was like, this is probably in black and white.
I was tempted to. And then one of my shooters was like, I like that shot. It's got good colours. I'm like, I'm keeping that.
Do it in colour. Don't copy. I mean, I filmed this in black and white, again, to save production value.
I was going to ask that, actually. I don't know if you filmed it in black and white or you went in editing afterwards and changed it.
Well, I do a bit of both. So it's like, I do it in black and white. It has a couple of reasons. Yeah. One is it saves me time because I don't have to colour balance anything, but I'm also colourblind. So it's like, it takes me even longer to colour balance anything. So I always just like, no, turn on grayscale. Done.
Yeah.
Done, walk away. Don't have to think about any of that. Yeah.
But yeah, college was good, and then other than that I was like, make a documentary, which we is the second year. It's the first project. Nothing really happened in the first year. It was like, make an advert, and I was like, okay, I'll do a clothing brand that does like alternative and nerd stuff, cool. Our FMP was to make a music video, and you had to find a band. You couldn't cover an actual song. You had to literally go out and find someone.
Okay.
I was lucky because my uncle was like, "Oh, do you want to make a video for us?" Like before that, I was like, "Okay, I need to do it now. Cool."
Yeah.
There was a problem, however. They were like, "We don't want to be in it, and we're a psychedelic rock band." And I was like, "Right, so this is going to be animation based, right? Okay." So I had to
You just increased my project time by like 20 years.
in the space of like 2 months, I had to teach myself After Effects, and I was just sitting there going, "What is this?"
I made the mistake of I think one of my final projects in college was making Flash animation, because I was like, I'm going to do animation. I got into film because of stop motion.
Yeah,
and I was like, cool, I have to learn how to Flash animate.
yeah.
Don't know how. So it's a stick animation. It's awful.
We did stop motion level 2, like a 30-second make some plasticine thing as well. But I was going to do a bit of stop motion for the video, but I was like, I've not got time. Yeah. I managed to do something for the video that kind of worked. If I still use it, basically I just went on YouTube, typed in psychedelic After Effects, and then like remade the stuff that people have made in tutorials, and then like I reused the same animations, but like went into like color mode and turned up the saturation or changed the colours or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the second year I was like, make a documentary. And I was like, okay. My friend wanted to do it about Pride because Pride was coming up. It was like a month away. So filming wise, perfect. But I was like, what I want to do is just about Pride. And then my tutor, which is a guy called Stuart, was like, right, you could do it about preachers who don't like the LGBT community, or who people assume don't like it. And I was like, we could do that. So we tracked down a guy who goes to Lincoln and holds down a sign. He works for a company that, I think they're evangelicist or something, where they preach. And we gave him a phone call, we interviewed him, we interviewed people at Pride, and that was quite fun.
Yeah.
That was also the first project, because I got bought a camera for Christmas, and that's the first thing I filmed, like, with the camera I bought. Yeah. I was like, okay, cool. Then the FMP for that came along, and again, it's like, do whatever you want. Yeah. I was like, sweet, right, I had this idea for a film, but I then decided not to do, so it's too complicated, so I had another idea for a film, I was like, cool. But then back for like halfway through, just crashed. Because like, it was supposed to be, and I want to remake it at some point, it's about lucid dreaming, or whatever, because like, I'm really into like, psychological stuff, and, what's the word? Like spiritual things, and like lucid dreaming is a thing that kind of pops up a lot. So I was like, I can do a film about that. So I can film it with real stuff because it's a real person. Yeah. And then if I want to get more fantasy, I can just have them dreaming about something, and it can be anything. Yeah. Because that's the thing about lucid dreaming, it could just be anything. So I was like, okay. The problem then came, my actor dropped out. Of course. So I'd like find someone like a week, like just before I was going to start filming. Yeah. Managed to get a friend to do it. And it was like all shot, like it was shot okay, but it was like all from behind or from the side, like no frontal stuff. The first half, which was like real life, was fine. The second half wasn't, because that relied on more on camera tricks. Like there's a part where she walks past a tree, then it goes to a next shot where she walks past another tree, but they're kind of like, when the tree comes past the camera, it cuts to the second tree, so it kind of like flows. Yeah. But I didn't think about more or less the character stuff. Okay. Bearing in mind again, this gets shown at the end of your show, where like everyone's parents come and sit down and they watch it on a big screen, and it's like, okay, right. So we get near submission time. I'm also the host of this. Me and my friend are the directors, and we're also now hosting it. I literally cut the second half and went, I'm just going to film some random, like, surreal stuff. Like, here's my hand in a blackness with a red light behind it going like that, and here's a shadow moving that way. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just going to put that in the second half instead of the other stuff, and that's it, done. Just that. No.
Abstract end.
Yep.
I was like, I don't know how to end my film. What can I do? I've got lights.
Yeah. And I was like, that's it. Not touching that anymore. That's done. And then I was like, okay, that's done. College is over. I got a merit. I was like, cool. Yeah. I can get onto uni. Got to uni, and it's like, again, the first thing we do is, right, here's a group of people. It's not all film students. It's like, there's the Lincoln School of Film and Media, which is like media, TV, photography, anything like art, pretty much. And we're like, go make a film about respect. You have 2 hours. We immediately made that a massive joke. There was a guy sitting on a bench. I played a nice guy sat on a bench. This other guy played like a dick sat at a bench who had like his feet up and was pushing the other guy. And I'm just sat there with a sandwich basically the whole time, and then that's it. We both walk off, and that's the whole film. None of us went to go watch it. They played it later on. None of us went. 3 of them went to get ready to go to a night out that day. I just went home. It's just like, nope.
You gotta go see your bad things.
I was tempted, but I was like, nah, let's go home. I was like, it doesn't count. It's not towards a grade. It's just a nice introduction. And then the first actual thing we made was another documentary. So I was like, great, I know what I'm doing here. Sorted. It actually ended up being at the horse riding club.
Okay.
Like 2 minutes away. Yeah. So I was on sound. You don't get to pick what you do. Yeah. It's this thing about uni. Because it's like, you're going to do everything. And then when you get to second year, you can pick like sound, director, editor, scriptwriter.
Like a broad spectrum. Yeah. So you can actually get
So like, you're in sound. I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll just hold a boom pole. Whatever, cool. Did the horse documentary. Went really well. Really enjoyed it. Except for the fact that we wanted to go film in the Commons near here. It was raining like hell. So it's all just like sludgy and it's not fun. Yeah. And I was like, great, cool. Thankfully, I have boots. I was fine. Yeah. One of them wore like trainers and all of his socks got wet. And it's like literally you're going on grass.
This is the beauty of film.
So you're going on grass. It's been raining. It's raining now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Non-controlled environment. Yeah. You're gonna hit all the problems.
And then we went back the next day because there was dirt on the lens. We had to reshoot some shots. A horse then licked the camera lens, which we then used in the film. But like they were told, don't break the equipment, and then the horse licked the lens, and we were like,
we didn't break it. We just washed it in a way like, you wouldn't appreciate.
Yeah, it was like, should we tell them about that? And I will use it for the film. We'll just let them find out. It was like, we can't not use it.
Yeah. So I mean, we're going into like your uni year then.
Yeah.
And like looking at your upcoming years. Are you in that mindset, which I think I've spoken about it before, like a couple of other people, of like, I want to be director?
No.
Okay, that's good.
Kind of. I don't. When I was in college, I was set in my mind, I'm going to be a cinematographer.
Right.
I want to be behind camera.
Yeah.
And then I did the After Effects thing in the second year, on my first year level 3, the music video. I was like, actually, I kind of like editing and making stuff. But I got to uni. Throughout most of it, I've always been like, I don't want to be a director. Because I've always kind of been like, I don't know if I would work well in that role. Okay, because if I had to tell someone, like, do this or redo something, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Because in my head, I'd be like, oh, they've been working for like hours and blah, 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 which is whatever.
Yeah. It's that level of people management.
But I know that, like, if I was a screenwriter, which is now something in uni that I'm enjoying now, but I didn't really do much at college, I wouldn't want someone else making my thing. I would want to be involved because in my head I would have a way it'd be done, and if someone else went, no, we're doing it this way, I'd be like, no, but I want it this way.
I think it's one of those things where, like, especially in film, you really have to kind of get over essentially because I mean if the way you, like, especially going through college, you look at it, you go, okay, cool, so who are the best directors? Like, it's Tarantino, Kubrick, blah,
everyone
blah,
mentions Tarantino,
and you're like, and that's the college mindset, and you're like, oh, do they write their own stuff? They directed it, and Tarantino says he can act. You're kind of like getting that, and then you realize there's such niche cases of that actually happening.
Everyone mentions Tarantino, especially in college. We watched a film every single week, and I was like, oh, we watched like Pulp Fiction. Everyone's like, oh, that's the best film ever, and it's like, it's good, but like everyone's like, oh, he's the best director. And I see so many people wearing like Pulp Fiction shirt, and it's like, he's not. He's just the one that everyone knows.
Well, it's that kind of thing of like, you get thrown these directors, and they go, you know, here's these things to study as material, and then people grasp onto the idea like Tarantino, and they go, oh, it's the best. And it's like, he's not the best. He was breaking at the time, and what he was doing was different, and that's why it was best at the time. Same with like Citizen Kane and everything like that. They were great at the time, and they deserve recognition, which is why you watch them. But it doesn't make them the best films in the world. It's
like, he can't be everyone's favourite. He's not going to be everyone's favourite. Because like whenever I got asked, like, oh, who's your favourite director? It used to be, if I was younger, before college, immediately I'd go Peter Jackson, because the only one I knew was a massive Lord of the Rings fan.
Okay. Yeah.
If I was at college, I would say Scorsese, because my favourite film from college and still now is Taxi Driver.
And you have to get a bit more pretentious as you go along.
Yeah.
You can start with mainstream, but you've got to go a little bit more pretentious every year.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, I like Taxi Driver, and Raging Bull's good, and all this other stuff. And I was like, if I had to pick now, when I saw Seven, and was like, I really like, Is it Fincher's 7? Because I always get him and Lynch. And it's like, no, it's Fincher's. Always in my head.
It's a proven pattern, and I hate to do it. It's like, I don't want to demean anyone's life. Or it's like, no, I've seen it 100 times. Everyone does exactly this. Like, you go and you're like, oh yeah, you know what the best film is? It's Shawshank Redemption. Spielberg. He's fantastic.
Okay, that was never the best film.
he's like a huge director. He makes really good films. Like, actually, Kubrick, Scorsese, they're the real deal. And then down the line, it's like, no, Lynch.
Yeah, see, but that's why whenever someone asks me who's my favourite, I always say my favourite is not this person is the best. Yeah. I'm always careful with that.
Yeah.
But when it's like, I don't know or not, because it's like someone goes favourite film. I don't have necessarily the best film ever made. I never watched a film and gone, back, that's like perfect, done. But favourite films, it's like, if I like The Thing, the 80s one, not a remake, not the one before that.
Kurt Russell doing his thing.
Yeah. Taxi Driver, which I watched twice at college in the 3 years I was there, and it was great. What else? I always struggle. The top two are like always there.
Yeah, I mean, people ask me my favourite film, I always pick 5, because I'm like, there's no way I can actually choose a favourite film.
Suspiria, the original one.
Yeah.
But the new one's still quite good.
Oh yeah, I watched it.
I rewatched it.
I watched the new one without subtitles because it was on pirate.
Nice.
I was just like, I am so confused. What was going on right now?
I got Amazon Prime Student.
Right.
So I got like a free month or whatever, and I watched it on there, and I thought, you know what, it's not as good as the original, because I think for me, I like the original because of what it looks like.
I think the new one is very much held by the original.
Yeah.
But I think if you are unaware of the original and you watched it, you'd be like, this is amazing. This is like something I've never even seen before in cinema. But so I think it did a very good job of just kind of coming in and going, you know what, we're going to do what
I think the best remake of a film that I've seen in a while. Yeah. And then, what else? Because I always have like, I always try something in the top 5, try and go different areas. So I have like Taxi Driver, which is kind of more the old school, I don't want to say mental health. It's kind of a mental health film, but it's not. It happens to have a character.
A lot of themes about mental health.
That's just like my classic one to go to. Yeah. There's Suspiria, which is more, if someone's an arty film or whatever, there's that one. There's Seven, which is just like a fun film to watch, even though what it's about isn't fun. No. It's just like, I can enjoy that. It's quite good. The Thing, just because it's cool. Practical effects wise, it's great.
In terms of like your favourite films then, because it's something I usually ask people when I kind of get to know them, is your favourite film list the same as your most watched filmed list? Because I find like my favourite films list is fairly eclectic, but my most watched films list sticks to like some very core points, and there's a lot of nostalgia in that list and all that kind of thing.
If I had to go current, no. Because out of all them films, I've seen Seven once, haven't rewatched it yet. Taxi Driver 3 times, The Thing once, Suspiria once, and that's it. But if I had to go, if you're going most watched of like all time, then that goes to like Disney, old school, Sword and Stone, or my favourite, which no one agrees with, which is Robin Hood. But Disney Robin Hood is the best Disney film. I would not argue that.
I mean, might differ on that, but my favourite Disney film is Sword and Stone. So
okay, so fair enough.
So you've already mentioned it. So my favourite Disney film is Sword and Stone. Why wouldn't
I like that? Might be nostalgia because you had both of them on VHS. Yeah. Because I was a kid that was brought up on VHS. I had like a TV with a built-in VHS player.
I still have a VHS player. Yeah. I'm a filthy hipster.
And I was like, well, what have I got? I've got Sword and Stone, which I like because it's dumb. Yeah. It's like, here's a guy who gets turned into a squirrel and a fish and sings a song when things go in his suitcase.
It's so good as well, though. You can't.
I only remember one, which is the one that when he's making things smaller into his little bag. It's whatever. I always get confused with the same song that's in. Is it Cinderella? It's the fairy who sings like Bipsy Bopsy Boop or whatever. And I always get confused.
Yeah.
And then Robin Hood, because like it's a fox and a bear, and that's also really catchy because it's got a chicken that plays a guitar. Yeah. And I was like, great.
It's one of those tunes. If you start whistling in a public place, you will hear someone else whistling it about 20 minutes later. It's the same as we found that you could do that with The Lion Sleeps Tonight. If you walk into a public place and you just start like humming it, you'd be like, and got that.
I had a toy where you press its paw and it was a lion and I think a mouse, and they were both sing. Like one, I think the lion singing the high pitched parts, and I think the mouse was singing the rest of it. And it was like that was the thing. Yeah. What else is most watched? A lot of it's comedies. A lot of it's like Johnny English, because it's, again, childhood. But one that no one else knows of except for like my brother, my friend, and another friend at uni. But it's one of my favourite that I tried to convince everyone to watch. Not because of its it's not the technical wise, like camera wise, the best film or whatever, but just because it's a great film. Is both of the Wayne's World films, specifically the second one.
Okay.
I prefer the second one.
That is a controversial opinion.
My brother also prefer. Yeah, but it's like the most things I know are in the second one. Like the second one is Wayne Stark, and the first one is him trying to get a girlfriend, and that's it. Which is still funny.
Trying to run a radio station and get a girlfriend.
Yeah, but like the second one, he's trying to set up a whole like festival, like a whole thing, and then he fights her dad in like a weird knockoff Chinese fight scene. It's great.
The level of like slapstick in the second one increases like heavily.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's the thing. Yeah, I can see why that's the thing.
I love Wayne's. It's great.
Yeah,
it's one of the only things we got asked in college. We had to like a little piece of paper. It was like, favorite film quote, and like. I feel sorry for the person that asked me that, because in my head I was like, I can't think of any film quotes. Because back then, I literally only knew Lord of the Rings, Wayne's World, Disney. I was like, what have we got from Lord of the Rings? And you're like, you shall not pass, I'm not saying that. I was like, what else you got? You got My Precious, I'm not saying that. I just went, twing, done. That's the one doing, done. And she's like, what's that? I went, done. There's no point in me explaining it.
I mean, within your family, are you the youngest within your family?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I find that's very handy for, like, especially when you've got like a lot of pop culture stuff. Like I learned a lot of my stuff from my brother, who's older than me. So even though I grew up through the 90s, and I knew a lot of like early 80s stuff because he introduced me to a lot of that. So,
my brother was the main one, music wise, especially because when I started off when I was younger, it was like the first CD I ever remember getting was Michael Jackson, which was, I think it's a best of compilation. I think it's like the best of Michael Jackson or something, because I saw an advert on the TV.
Is it the one with like the statue of him on the front of it?
No, it's just his face. It's like
like
I don't think it's black and white, but it's just a picture of like a close up of his face, and that's it. And then it was like, okay, cool. And then I got to like secondary school, and I was one of the kids, like my friend group, that went through a massive emo phase, and was like. My brother had the first Slipknot album, again going back to Corey Taylor, which is like all them wearing masks, massive red thing, wearing like the border suits, and every single time, because we had like a CD rack, I would look for CDs, I'd always pull it out and go, that looks scary, put it back. Because the most heaviest I got when I was younger was Green Day. Okay. Because my mum had the 21st Century Breakdown album with like a lyric book, so I'd play that and sing along to it or whatever. Yeah. And then one day I was like, I'll listen to it. The problem with that album is, which wasn't a problem for me, it starts off with like a whole minute of just words. Yep. And then the second song kicks in, which is still to this day the heaviest Slipknot song I've ever heard. It was just starts off, and I feel like a portable CD player. Yeah. I think I'm home alone, so I think I'm playing it out loud, and that starts, and like
kicks in.
Straight away I'm like, one, this is really fucking heavy, and two, I'm really enjoying this. Luckily,
I remember that CD kind of coming out, and it was at the same very start of the time. Like my brother, I got into music through Guns N' Roses and Bon Jovi, and like classic rock and all that kind of stuff. And my mum was into that. And then my brother came home one day with Marilyn Manson.
Nice.
Just like it was just beautiful people.
Yeah.
Get me, and I was like, okay, and listen to this. And I was like, well, this is fucking great.
Yep.
And then he gave me Slipknot's The Album, which to the day is my most favourite album of all time.
See, that's a hard question for me to answer.
Yeah, I can't get past it. Like, Wait and Bleed it doesn't matter what song I've ever heard. Every time it kicks in, the nostalgia just kicks in my head. I'm like, I'm in heaven. And I used to have that on repeat on my Walkman on my paper round. And it would just like go, and I'd be walking up, and like I just remember it kicking in. Like that first thing, and you're like, I don't know what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
This first intro, it's like it's a bit weird, a bit fucked up, and then it just kicks in. You're like, oh my god, my heart rate just jumps 20 beats, and I don't know what's going on.
I think when I first heard it, I was like, is this playing right? Is this a song? I didn't skip it, and then it played, and I thought, right, okay, this is where it starts.
It's like within the first 30 seconds as well, though. Like, there's no lyrics.
No, it's not.
He just shouts at you.
Yeah.
You're like. That's the effect music should have on people.
And then like after that I was like, okay, because my dad was classic rock. He was Meatloaf, Journey, massive Meatloaf fan, Bon Jovi.
I always laugh when I say I'm into Meatloaf.
I like Meatloaf.
Meatloaf's great. Such a good thing.
Can't think of but he's like classic rock. My mum is a mixture Because if you go like normal, it's just like currently it's like Mumford & Sons or whatever.
Okay.
But it's also like kids, bit of Rob Zombie that would just pop in every now and then and stuff like that. My brother was like Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, like a bit of glam, but also a bit of like metal, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then so I found Slipknot, and I went to school and told my friend, and he was like, "Oh, because this is kind of like everyone has like the emo bands. So like my brother's was like My Chemical Romance and Fall Out Boy and Green Day, that sort of thing."
Yeah.
So I spoke to my friend, and he was like, "Oh, I should listen to like Avenged Sevenfold and Black Veil Brides and all them stuff, which are really new upcoming stuff." So I got to listen to them, which aren't as heavy as Slipknot were. And then it kind of just got weird because I had Guitar Hero, which also had bands on it that I didn't realise were like Bullet for Valentine, which are massive. What probably are one of my favourites for nostalgia reasons, because I think throughout most of my years of music, as it's kind of expanded, they were one of the only bands that have stuck. Because like my older emo stuff, like Black Veil Brides, I barely listen to now, or Avenged Sevenfold, unless I like want to go back and go, "Oh, what's this song?"
Yeah, have
now?
a day.
Yeah. But so then it came that, and then it was like, okay, well, what else is there? And then it got to like metalcore, which is what everyone calls screamo, which is what I call it, which is basically like it's heavy stuff.
I see screamo and metalcore as very different things, but yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like it's just heavy stuff with a breakdown, and it's I'm like, okay, I like that. And then it went to deathcore, which is the same thing but like heavier vocals. And then at one point I got into death metal a little bit, but like light stuff. I say light stuff with death metal.
I mean,
but
as light as death metal can
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into like searching up bands that had weird names and just seeing what they sound like.
Yeah.
Everyone goes Cannibal Corpse, which is the obvious one.
But they're terrible.
They are. But I was like, what other death metal bands are there? Dying Fetus. I was like, what? I'm gonna listen to it, but what?
That's what you're saying about tropes in student film. Tropes in fucking death metal bands. It's like, okay, so we've got this band, they're all really, and it's usually, you watch interviews with them, and they're usually quite friendly people.
Oh, yeah.
I love watching them when you get like really northern people in it as well. Like, oh yeah, we thought we'd draw this band. It's like, what you call? Oh, we're called like Nun's Vagina Rape, mate.
Yeah.
And you're like, why? And it's like,
There's
just pick 4 adjectives.
There's a band, I can't remember if it's a band or if it's a song. I think it's a song, which is just called Bucket of Afterbirth, which is a death metal song.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a thing. And then ever since that, like, I've been like, okay, I think because my parents like rock and my brother like metal, I was then like, if someone went, here's a metal band, I'll be like, okay, I'll give them a listen. If I didn't have that, because a lot of the things that I ran into, because at that point I only listened to like metal and rock. Whenever I'd go, here's a song you should check out, everyone would just like not listen to it because it's like, oh, it's just words, you can't hear it or whatever. And then like, especially, well, to be fair, it took me a while to get actually to know what anyone was saying, which is fair enough.
We'll never admit it as teenagers.
No.
You're like, no, I can understand everybody's like, no, it was words.
I was also at one point when I was a teenager like, oh, it's so meaningful. It wasn't. At that point, what I was listening to wasn't. It's like, here's Slipknot, and it's like, some of the stuff is.
Yeah.
The
Not
stuff I
everything
listened
has to
to.
be, though.
No. And it was like the first albums that I bought, because I think after Slipknot, I bought All Hope Is Gone, because it had Psychosocial.
Yep.
I was like, that's my favourite Slipknot song at the time. What is now, I got no idea. But it was. I was like, I like that album. Everyone hates. It's also one of the things when you're a teenager. Everyone goes, that album sucks.
Yeah, so
and like everyone,
you have to like it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like even the people in metal are like, that's the worst Slipknot album. It's like the one before the new one, the Grey Chapter. Everyone's that's the worst one. It's like, it's so good. It's like I'm trying to think of other bands. Most bands will have like the one album which everyone hates.
Do you have a film which everyone hates,
but I like,
which you like?
Oh god, it probably is.
Because this is the thing. Like, you usually find there's a film which everyone hates, and then you like, and you end up just holding on to it, even if you start to hate it, because you're like, no, fuck it.
I'm trying.
I've got to love this film.
There probably has been films where I've watched it and I've been like, that's really good, but I can't remember on it. I've had the opposite. I've had films I've not liked that people love.
Yeah.
Which is my go-to, and I don't hate the films. I did cause a few arguments in college because we were going to watch Stand By Me for Film Friday.
Okay.
And I was like, overrated. Which I still think it is. It's a good film. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying people speak about it too much.
Yeah, okay.
It's like Forrest Gump. Great film, but it's not as good as everyone says it is.
I think Forrest Gump, Shawshank are the two of the films which, like, they always end up on top of film lists.
Yeah.
And you're like, they're really good films.
Yeah.
but people really love, like, it's like a lot of people's favourite film of all time.
Yeah.
You're like, no, it's because they're feel-good films. They make you feel great, so that's why you watch them.
That was my argument, was I don't like films, or I don't like films as much that if you leave watching it, you feel fine. It's why I like Suspiria, because I left like a whole day after watching it, I was like, I don't know what I've watched, I couldn't get my head around it.
I mean, there's a clear correlation here between like your film interest and your music interests. If like when you get involved, it's like, no, I want to feel like I've been being up a little bit when I come out of a film. Yeah, I want, it's got to be an experience which takes me on that ride, even if it ends up in a nice place.
It's why it's like with films or music, even like with some metal songs, I don't even know what they're saying, but it's like I still like it, it's just weird. But like with films, it's the same thing.
You've got an interest in slapstick then, because it's like, I mean, that's essentially just the physical manifestation of the theory which is in all those films.
I think one of the best films I've seen, because of college, was With Nan and I. Which is basically it's a dark humour with slapstick, or Howard and Maude, same thing. And it's like, I fucking love them films. The dark Howard and Maude especially is, as far as dark goes, it's just a kid who keeps trying to kill himself, who doesn't die, and then dates like an 8-year-old who then dies, and it's like, it's a bit weird going, you should watch this film, what's it about? It's about a kid who like tries to do seppuku and then goes out with an 8-year-old.
I stopped telling people what films are about, like years and years ago, because I was like recommending things and like, oh, that sounds a bit heavy for like an afternoon, and people just don't want to watch them. So what you end up doing is you just go, right, you should watch this film, and then you go and like, oh, what's it about? It's like, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. I just want you to watch it and give yourself an afternoon to watch it. Put it in like a chill afternoon and watch this film and you'll actually enjoy it. And you get people will watch so much more of what you suggest.
I did that because I knew Taxi Driver was coming up the second time round in my final year of college. Because they told me, they was like, oh, your favourite film's on Film Friday. I was like, great. And people knew it was like my favourite. So when it was coming up, because they don't tell you what you're watching until the week before. So you watch, like, one Friday you watch it and I'll tell you what next Friday is.
Right.
Everyone kept asking me, oh, why'd you like it? Was it good? And all I kept saying was, oh, what's it about? It's about a taxi driver. Because it is.
I mean, it's essentially about a taxi driver.
And then everyone's like, why'd you like it? It's about a taxi driver. I was like, yeah, it's about a taxi driver. And that was it.
Schindler's List, it's about a factory owner. Can I avoid the subject as much as I can? Yes, I can avoid it as much as I need to.
But to be fair, Taxi Driver is just a film about taxi driver.
Caligula, it's about a king.
Yeah. And I was like, well, why do you like it? It's a good film. It's a good film. I was like, it's short. Yeah. Which it was, thankfully.
I always find it kind of interesting when you especially when you're learning film, you watch so many films and you criticize them. And like media studies will ruin your interest in film.
I can't not watch a film for fun.
You will just, that will happen. It's something you'll end up having to like turn off in your head, and then at some point you'll be watching something, you're really enjoying it, and you're like, it's out of focus. Why is it out of focus? It's like, this is a multi-million-pound film. Why is it out of focus? The one which gets me is shot, reverse shot in Conversations. Yeah. When you can see the mouth move through the dialogue.
I thought you were going to say it when it was a shot, reverse shot, but the camera's the wrong way around.
Oh, no.
Because you're supposed to film it on the same side.
I love that. But no, it's like when you have like a conversation like this, and then the camera will be behind me. My mouth will be moving, but there'll be no dialogue from me.
Fair enough.
And it's like, you just cut together takes, and you, like, no one else is knowing this, but you kind of learn to get past it and just delve.
The thing is, I do it with everything. There's been like an advert on TV, and I was like, there was an advert for a documentary, no idea what it was, but it was showing like an interview segment, and it was like kind of like this, where they're basically sat in chairs opposite each other, and it was like cut into shots of like them speaking and then like close-ups. There was one shot behind a fence. The fence was out of focus, like a square mesh thing, but you could barely see him. I'm like, why is that a shot? You can't see the interview. The fence is out of focus. Literally, it's pointless.
The real pitfall to avoid is, so obviously you're learning this and you're getting critical of everything. Is don't, like, 3 years down the line, don't go like watch a big blockbuster film and be like, no, it's crap. It's like this was wrong, this was wrong. It's like, no, just enjoy the experience.
I feel like the thing is as well, most movies nowadays, they're not going to be like technical masterpieces.
No, they will be in different ways. To the way you like classic cinema is. Yeah. I think that's like, I watch a YouTube channel which is essentially them talking about visual effects and CGI and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And they watch clips from like Lord of the Rings, and they'll watch clips from like classic 80s films and be like, yeah, this is amazing, and they really pushed the boundary here. And I think they watched one from Interstellar, and they're like, this is there's huge leaps. And as a cinema goer, I'm just like, I don't see that as a huge leap. Because this is it's just minute, but to visual effects guys, it's like the biggest thing in the world.
This is the thing as well. With college, all the films we watched were like before 2000s, 70s, 80s, whatever. At uni, it's like all stuff that came out in the last like 10 years. Yeah. So it's completely different. Yeah. Like, it's like you watched like Raging Bull, and it's like the cinematography and that's great. Then we watched in uni Erin Brockovich, and it was like completely different ends of spectrums. And it's like, but it's still stuff that you can take away, but it's different.
Yeah.
Recently, the last film I saw at the cinema, I went to go watch 2 films at once because me and my brother wanted to go watch it. We went to watch the new Star Wars that just come out. Mm-hmm. Because we'd seen the other 2 of the last trilogy or whatever when they came out, and then my mum was like, "We should go watch Cats," because I watched that on VHS when I was younger. And I kind of wanted to go see it because I saw the trailer and it saw CGI and not weird. I thought this is gonna be fun. Yeah. And even that was different because like Star Wars effects wise, it's great. I had the whole thing during the film where like there's like when the scenes, because most films like jump cuts, so we're trying to do it, but they've got really good transitions from scene to scene. In my head, I'm like, that's great. Yeah. No, I spoke to my brother. I was like, do you notice the scenes? And I'm like, no. I'm like, oh.
They don't care about it.
I'm like, forgot you're not a...
It's the problem thing with it. It's been pointed out to you. You can't unsee it.
Yeah. I hate that in films because a lot of people like when a film comes out or like a film's got a mistake in it and someone tells you it. It's like Braveheart. There's a car in Braveheart, and that's all I see. It's just like one car in a corner,
I love stuff like that,
and it's like, God damn it!
That's why. Like, I've never, especially with films. I mean, this podcast is probably a great example of like how I make work. I've always embraced the imperfection in everything I do. It's like drawing. Yeah. Cool. I'm going to leave all the sketch lines in because those are part of the art which I'm making. You know, making a film, it's like, oh, the camera shook there. I'm probably going to leave that shot in because that shows the people behind the camera, and it's going to make you understand the process which went into it. But like, it was one thing like you, especially uni, you get a lot of people who get real perfectionist, like super perfectionist. And I never understood it.
I think in terms of the people that I know from uni, there's like, so the group for the documentary I had, we were all basically the whole time being like, what we made, like we had the horse film, like we'd not planned this out. Yeah. Was like, this is not a mess, but like this is literally, we're kind of like jumbling clips up to make it work and stuff, which still works. We knew enough what we were doing so we could do it, but we weren't planning it out like every single shot needs to be like this or whatever. There's one person, however, that is kind of like uni, and like every chance he gets, he's like, we had it at college as well, there's always one, but like any chance they get to prove they know something, they will do it. And it's like, there was one at college who like knew a lot about film, and he's like, oh, I want to be a director. I was like, okay, you know what you want to do, fair enough. And it's like, he knew a lot, which is good, and he's like, however, is when people like, if you disagree with something that he doesn't agree with, he'll have a massive argument with you.
Oh yeah, if you disagree, you're a moron. It's like, I'm not a moron, I've just got differing opinions.
And it's like, there's one person at uni who any chance he gets, he's like, oh, I'll show you my work, and he gets up, he's like chirping, plugs it in, and then like takes half an hour to find it because he had it on his phone or whatever. And then like, I can kind of see it, because I think it's like when you first learn about stuff, you learn and you're like, oh great, I know all this stuff. But I think, I don't know, it's weird, but thankfully it's the one thing I didn't want at uni, which was like, I want people who want to make stuff and are, what's the word?
Passionate?
Passionate or enthusiastic about making stuff. Like they put time into what you're making, but don't like slack off or like, oh, I can't come in today because I'm not feeling well, or oh, I just can't be bothered.
I think that like, as much as you go to uni, because I mean I've talked at length about Lincoln Uni and how ill prepared I think it makes you, but not to like quash your future 3 years. But it's kind of one of those things like uni teaches you like all these little things. It introduces you to a lot of things, and you, like you say, you watch films which you never thought of watching. You'll be shown stuff which you never even knew existed. And it does a lot to expand your horizon of everything. But it doesn't prepare you for industry. And so your different personality types, which you get, like your friends who know everything, and friends who like super detail orientated, versus the friend who only writes scripts and doesn't know how to do anything else. It doesn't kind of set you up to go, all right, where do we all fit into the industry? And that's the problem with then you get a lot of people who just want to be directors.
Yeah.
And you go, it's like, not everyone will be a director, and you might not actually enjoy directing. You got to look at those things to have something where you're like, oh no, my editing might be my thing.
Directors are, in terms of film, they're the one thing, but like I think it's also because you think of film.
Yeah.
Like you think of like Taxi Driver, you go Scorsese. Like everyone knows the director, and
Yes.
that's it. And I think everyone then goes, okay, this film, because also on credits, and we were told this by a screenwriter, and he mentioned this, and now it's what I look for all the time, is on credits it will mostly say made by director's name, not directed by. And I think everyone then goes, oh, so they ripped the film and they planned out all the shots, and so that's not how it works. Everyone does something different. The director, in terms of actual stuff, doesn't really most of the time have much to do with the story. They just make sure
the
it gets
director
made.
turns up.
Yeah.
The director turns up to guide actors.
Yes.
That's essentially the director's role.
The cinematographer does the camera, or director of cinematography does that. You've got director of lighting, which will do the lighting for it. You've got the screenwriter who actually made the story.
I mean, I think that's something which I wish I'd decided earlier on in like my scholastic career, is deciding what you actually want to make for the reasons you want to make it. Like I'd say I was one who wanted to be a director. I want to be that name on the placard. I wanted that kind of thing, but then down the line I'm like, hang on, do I actually want recognition from the public that I made this film, or do I want recognition from people who actually are passionate about film? So who watch the credits and go, there's the editor. That's the one I'm interested in.
You see, I think I'm already kind of at that point, because I've always been like, okay, well, why do I not want to be a director? One, I'm probably not good at it. Two, I want to have more of a hands-on thing with the film. But I've also been like, in my head, if a film is good, in most cases, the director will be like, everyone's like, oh, I love that director. But on the other hand, if a film is bad, it's the director's fault.
Yes.
And I didn't want that. I thought,
very much public eye.
I'll be like, I'll be a camera guy, but no one knows, therefore I don't get any blame. unless you're like the director of The Godfather, which like no one knows his name.
Nobody cares though. Godfather's one on my list where I'm like, it's not great. Like, it's just I got bored.
I watched it the first time and thought, this is too long. Was it the second time? I thought, okay, now it's good. It's not in my top 5, but I'm like, I can appreciate this now.
I wouldn't even put it in top 20. I'd rather watch Goodfellas.
That's a good point. I don't know if I would put it in top 20 actually as well.
It's like one of those things of like, it's very aged now.
Yeah.
And it is very slow, but it's that classic like Family Guy, but it's like, no, didn't like Godfather. It's overrated. It insists on itself.
That's another film that is basically always number 1, like best film of all time. Godfather. Or Godfather Part 2. Which
has recognition up there, but at the same time, I'm like, it's not my nowhere near my top 20.
No.
Anyway, doesn't touch it. I put the film which I love, and I know I shouldn't love because everyone hates it, is Godzilla.
Which
the
one?
Original,
right?
Broderick Godzilla.
Well, to be fair, any of them, because I think everyone hates all of them.
It's the thing. I watched Godzilla, and everyone's like, "No, the fucking dinosaur changes size halfway through the film. It's got Matthew Broderick in it, who killed a guy." And
is that the one where the guy in the Godzilla suit learned to be a judo black belt? That's one of them. He became a black belt in judo so he could flip people as Godzilla.
No, that's not like Godzilla. This Godzilla is where you've got a CG Godzilla.
Oh, it's right. Okay.
But it's in you've got Matthew Broderick, and there's the guy who played Leon, who's like with a French interloper and all this kind of stuff. And there's so many good actors in it, and it's so trashy. And Jamiroquai did the soundtrack, and you're like watching it like, this is just pure trash. But I can't look away.
Actually, similar to that, the King Kong from Jack Black, I quite enjoy, which from what I've heard, people don't. But I do kind of find quite fun. Probably mainly because it's got Jack Black in it.
That's the thing, though. These are films which aren't made for film students. No. They're films which are made to be fun and enjoy them. And it's like, you can't just turn off at some point and go, no, this is fucking hilarious. And I love it. They've got a giant pile of fish and they're feeding Godzilla.
Yeah.
I don't need any more from this film.
There's films I like from. I think it's why my favourite films aren't my most watched, because I have to be in a certain mindset or a certain mood to watch my favourite films.
Yeah.
Whereas films like King Kong, I can just put it on and it's fine.
I think that's the thing though. Like that's why I always ask. It's like, I think your films most watched show more of your personality than your favourite films. Favourite film list, you can pick things which are technically detailed.
Yeah.
Because that's things you're passionate about and that's film you're interested in. But the films you most watch are the ones which had a connection with you.
Yeah.
As a person as you grew up and have a connection with the people. And it's like, Do you want to make a film which is most watched or someone's favourite film?
I think it's, again, similar to favourite film. Is also depending on what you want to be.
Yeah.
So if you want to be camera, it might be something like Schindler's List or Raging Bull, but it's known for what it looks like. Or if it's sound, it might be like, what's a good film? There's a film, I watched it at uni recently with not Keanu Reeves, John Travolta. He is a sound guy. I forgot what it's called.
I can't remember the name of that.
But that's a film.
Yeah.
That has somewhat decent sound.
Yeah.
Because it's about a sound guy.
Yeah.
Another dark film, actually. But
do you feel like
it's quite good?
I mean, that's a question. Do you feel like within film study,
Mm-hmm.
there's a certain pressure to do dark subjects or to tackle serious issues rather than like make a comedy?
I don't know if it's a pressure. What I think it is, especially with my generation, it's either people are going, I want to make a mental health film because it's a big thing right now, especially with younger people, or if it's because people go, right, I want to make a film. They Google, I've done this before, or YouTube, how to make a film interesting. First thing that comes up is like drama or conflict. So if like, how to make drama?
Yeah.
Someone's died, or like someone's had an argument, someone's like, it's that, and they go, right, this is the thing, and I'm going to roll with it.
I think you get a level as well of, because obviously you're all coming out of college, there's like, I need to prove I'm an adult, so I'm going to tackle adult subjects, rather than going, I could make a video about a train.
I think the thing that everyone forgets as well at uni, which I'm glad the screenwriter we have is telling us to do, is everyone, because when we've written scripts, we've had to do it twice now. It's like write a 5-minute or 4-page screenplay, no dialogue, and then a 6-page screenplay with dialogue.
Yeah.
We have to make the films in the second semester when we go back. Mm-hmm. He's always told us, because I had friends that like, I want to make a gangster film, I want to write this film, I want to write. I've had friends that have tried to make films. It's been like, I want to make this massive thriller, because my original plan for college was to make a horror film where a guy, kind of like Silence of the Lambs, where a guy makes a suit out of flesh, but different. As in, he makes an actual, like, kind of like Frankenstein, where he uses people's body parts and stuff. And I was like, I can buy props for that on Etsy, weirdly. But I was like, I'm not in the place yet where I can make it. And it's like everyone at uni is being told, write a script that you can go out and film now.
Yes.
Don't write something you can't make.
The best way to write a script or to have like a successful project is make a list of everything you have and then shoot within that list. Yeah. Like if it's like one, because essentially I think it's Rodriguez did that for, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like, cool, I've got a banjo and a tortoise. Yeah. That's going to be the story. Yeah. That's going to be the entire capitulation because I don't have to think about anything else, and it makes everything so much easier to kind of run down that line. It's
like my first script was, it was like 4-page screenplay, no dialogue. I was like, okay, I'll have it be one character, because I didn't want to have it where it's like he just doesn't speak, or like he can't speak, or he's been cursed. So I was like, I want a situation in real life where he just won't speak. So I was like, okay. Originally, it was going to be. He has a phone, he's got headphones in, so he's ignoring people so he doesn't speak. Yeah. And then he works at an office, and then he wants this life of like freedom and whatever, and then his phone dies, so he's stuck. So he's like, oh, the thing I use as an escape, it doesn't work anymore. And then he has to go outside and kind of like try and find a solution to fix his phone, and by doing that he finds like this massive open park and he's free or whatever. I then changed that to because it came like, oh, you've got, like most uni students, you've got a week left to hand it in and you haven't done anything. So I was like, okay, I can write a script in a week, sure. Yeah. And it was, so I was like,
in an afternoon, it just might not be very good.
So I was like, all right, what do I do? I thought, I got it. I write a script about a guy who's trying to come up with a film idea, but can't. But I was like, I don't want us to do that. So I did a thing where I was like, right, okay, it's going to stick with the phone. So it's this guy in a room who's locked in a room. So it's like a square room, all white, nothing on it. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to come up with a film idea, and he can't. And he can't leave the room, and the door's locked, he can't get out of it. Yeah. And then the whole point of the film is eventually like, because I didn't go to Frequency this year, festival. Yeah. But I saw a picture of one of the exhibits, which was a white box but I think had a VR headset in it or something.
Okay, yeah.
And you put your head in the box,
Yeah.
so it's like a box of your body coming out of it, and you watch this thing. I was like, that would look good if it was in a film, and basically it was always people with boxes on their head.
Yeah.
And the teacher was like, you need a theme for your film. There's got to be like a theme for your film.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what if a film is just a guy who's trying to think out of the box, hence why he's got a box on his head. It's like a visual metaphor. And I was like, okay, I'll just write a film about that, where he's in his own head, he's in the box, which is the room he's in, and then eventually when he thinks outside the box, he takes the box off, and then he's in the actual world where people are wearing boxes. And then my second film was, again, like, you need dialogue, you have to make it. And this is kind of, again, like you mentioned, I was like, okay, what do I do? I'm really bad with film ideas. As much as I like screenwriting, I'm terrible at coming up with ideas.
Right, okay, yeah.
But I was like, okay, what about a guy that doesn't like what he looks like, and then wakes up one day and he looks like what he looks like. So he looks like what he wants to look like.
Okay, yeah.
So I was like, okay, I can do that, just get 2 actors. Yeah. But I was like, but what happens? Because it can't just be a film about a guy who's changed body. Yeah. And then I was like, well, what would happen if a guy woke up one day and was someone else, like in real life? So I was like, okay, so he goes back to his life, does normal stuff. And then, so I was like, what if one of my friends just like became this other guy, looked completely different, lived in the same house, because he was the same person, but looked different. And I was like, well, we wouldn't know that that's him. Yeah. He wouldn't be able to tell us that's him, because he looks different. Yeah. He can't go to the same job. He has to find like a new friendship group and everything. So I was like, the whole film is a guy who changes what he looks like, and then like gets a new set of friends, and then turns out his other friends think he's gone missing. Right. So he's run away or something. Yeah. And then he's left to watch his old friends like completely like mental health goes awful. Yeah. Self-harm. One tries to find him, and now he's missing because he's looking for someone who's right in front of him. And that's the whole film. Like, he gets turned because what started out as a guy in a dream who's like, I can turn you into that. Okay, yeah. Because the dialogues, between him, his friends, and I think I called him like mystery character. I didn't give him a name. No, because I didn't want to. But it's like
man.
That's good. Yeah. Who eventually became this weird. It was supposed to be kind of like the devil, where like you sow your soul and he gives you what you want, and it turns out bad. Yeah. He ended up being this weird Cockney devil. He spoke with like a weird Cockney accent because I thought it was funny and I rolled with it. And then the whole film is just like he finds him. He becomes like it's a generic. Oh, I'm like too skinny, or so he becomes like an athletic looking guy and he plays football with someone else. And then like he takes him back to the park from the start of the film. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I saw this thing off YouTube, randomest place. I was watching someone interview some cosplayers, and I'm like, these are how I make my fake scars. You get this liquid, you put it on your arm, and it tightens your skin. Yeah. So it makes your skin look like a scar. Yeah. And I was like, I could use that for a film. So I was like, this girl now has self-harm scars, because it doesn't say that in a script, it's like you see scars on her arm. Yeah. And then because I originally had it, where he then got changed back to his old self, and he's like, he went to a event that was set up to try and raise money for a charity, and he's like, I'm not missing now, I'm back. But I was like, nah, let's not do that. Let's just have him stare at his friend who's just like mentally screwed, and he just has to look at her. That's it. That situation. And it's like, what's the theme? Just like accept what you look like, pretty much. Yeah, I mean I think that's good. I think it's essentially very dark way of showing it, but
no, I think this is the thing. Like, I think when a lot of people like start going with that is like, you get things like, oh, it's really dark. And it's like, well, no, there's a lot of films which are way darker out there. What you're doing is it's just the first time you've had the opportunity to do anything along these lines. But like, obviously thinking of like your future years and whatnot, and looking back at what your past is, what would you give advice to someone who's in college?
I think the best thing with college, which is now what I'm trying to do with uni, but you can do it in college. If you do it in college, it's even better because you've got more time. Yeah. When you're at college and uni, and I guess in a way, if you're a freelancer or you're doing it independently after uni, that's probably the only time where you're going to be able to make unless you make whatever you want.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're hired, you can't do what you want because someone's telling you how to make it. College and uni is your time to be like, I like this, I want to try and make this. Plus, if you're a college and uni student and you make something and it flops, or like you try and make something abstract and it just looks like you put things together, it's fine because you're a student.
Yes.
Everyone knows.
You're learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the whole point of being a student. Like, you're not perfect, that's why you're there.
Take those risks whilst you have the opportunity to.
Because, like, if you don't, you'll just kind of, I don't want to say become generic, that sounds bad, but you won't have a style.
Yeah.
Or you won't have as defined a style as if you tried it out.
Yeah.
Like, if you like weird horror, like 80s horror, like monsters, aliens, just make a film about that. Even if it looks bad and it has bad, like, practical effects, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Just make the thing.
You're in and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with uni. Because, like, at the end of the third year, they pretty much go, again, you can make what you want. But, like, you have more equipment. And that's the stage where I'm like, I want to make something that's... I always want to, like, push it.
Yeah.
Like with learning After Effects in 2 months. It's like, I don't want to just make a video where I'm filming someone playing an instrument for, like, 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So, especially if you're, again, at college or uni, you can get away with it. Yeah. If you push something that doesn't work. Plus, I don't know if it's just me or not, because I learn better practically than textbook.
Yeah.
I learn by doing it then. Like, I find it really hard to read a book and learn stuff. But if I went out and did it, I learn better.
Yeah.
So, it's like, if I did something and it went wrong, I would prefer that than if I did something and it went right.
Yeah.
Because even though my, like, final college project, like, flopped and I had to show it in front of all the parents and it was awful and I hate it, I've still got it, I've kept it. That is one of the best things I've made because I learned more from that than I did from, like, anything else years before.
You're there for the experience and to build on that. I think, I mean, in terms of when I think of going back and, like, projects I've seen, because I've seen so much work, I tend to go to, like, the end of year shows for the uni just to see what's kind of been pushed out and all that kind of stuff. Because even though I essentially stepped away from film, I made a conscious decision at one point. I was like, I'm not going to do film anymore. At most, I'll write for it and I'll just carry on doing all my other stuff. But in terms of, like, advice, I think being brave of it is the way forward.
Yeah.
You know, do what everything. But there's, like, a few things which you can do which you see so often mistake-wise.
Yeah.
It's like, one, like with yourself, start with something simple.
Yeah.
And then expand that simple. Don't go in thinking, I'm going to make a thriller about espionage and it's going to be this, this, and this. And then, because you'll end up with like 50 million loopholes, you'll never be able to shoot it all. Whereas if you go, you know what if this guy has a hat? How does that affect the world around him? That'll be a much more sincere film. And then find older actors.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge one. I ended up in like 20 films in uni. Because everyone's like, I need an actor. Can you come and do something? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm available. But we all look like we're 19. And if you go out and find someone who's like 40, it instantly like elevates your film. So you can have that different aspect. And they're usually better actors as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, drama students can only do so much.
I think the other thing is as well, advice-wise, especially with uni, I don't know why it is. I think it's because I think I'm brought up different-wise. Yeah. With other people. I spent most of my life with adults. With like I mentioned before, I did martial arts, so the people there were like 20, 30 years old. Most times in school, I was like I spoke to teachers a lot and stuff like that. So maybe it's because of that. But the thing with uni and college, you're in a place where the people teaching you have been doing it for like years. And they're experienced and they've won awards, they've been in film festivals, they've done stuff. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with making a film or being stuck and then asking them for help. Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of people go, I'm in uni, I'll make a film. And it's like, well, why don't you ask this person? And I'm like, no, I'll just do it myself. Or like there's lecturers who go, I hate that lecture. I was like, well, why? And it's like, just don't like it. I was like, well, you need what they're saying. They know what they're saying. They've done it. And
even if you don't utilise it right away, what they're saying is important for you.
It's like some people are like, I just don't like this, I don't need that. But it's like, well, you do, that's why I'm teaching you it. Yeah. But if you're making a script, go ask the scriptwriter for help because he's done it before, he's had experience. They're there to help you. It's the whole point.
They're resources.
Yeah.
You use them. You're paying for them.
Yeah, because like it's kind of like you're a student.
Yeah.
You're there to learn.
Yeah.
But you only have like 2 years or 3 years to be with them to get their knowledge until you're in your own world.
Yeah.
And once you're in the industry, you then can't really go ask them for help anymore because you're on your own. You've had that 3 years.
Know what you're doing by that point. Yeah.
And it's like, but even sometimes, some teachers like Nathan they'll do something else. They'll leave. They won't be there.
Yeah.
And it's like once they're gone, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like you only have a certain amount of time to ask for help or to get advice.
Yeah.
So do it.
I think that's a good point to round this out on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they're above you.
Yeah.
They're still going to help you.
Be brave and ask for help.
And if you can't do it in person, do what I do. Just send them an email.
Don't be so egoed to go, oh, I know exactly what it is. It's like, no, you don't. You're learning.
That's what I always do. I'm like, here's an email of my script. Can you help me, please? Thank you.
That's the beautiful way
If
to
I
do
can't do it in person, like, here's an email. It's a PDF.
Either way.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for coming, Gary.
Yeah, it's fine.
And chatting about film for an hour or so. And I'm sure, if you got any,
I was 16.
I was 16, there you go. Sure, if you got anything, coming up, show-wise, we'll come see it and see what the deal is.
Cool.
But yeah.
Awesome.
I think that's good advice to end on. We shall talk to you guys later.
Was that a button that you pressed? My God, we're stuff.
Yeah.